Welcome, 4th and 9 to victory. We're here to do our post-game recap. Man, definitely feel good to be back on the winning side of things.
Oh, yeah.
Our USC Trojans went up to Lincoln, Nebraska, took on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We was able to come home with a 21-17 victory. Man, so excited about it. It was a blackout game. Both teams with 2 losses, both teams fighting to stay alive for the playoffs.
Right.
And so excited that our Trojans was able to come home with the victory. So we're definitely going to get into it. And as we always do, we start off with our first segment.
Victory Sunday.
Victory Sunday. And what we discuss here is just what USC did well in the game. Kudos to some things they did that we need to continue to do to continue winning and stay on this path and continue to have success. So B, what did we do yesterday that was very successful that you like that we did that we need to continue to do to keep our ongoing success and keep this season going to the goal we're at now, which is to get to the playoffs and go 10-2?
Well, we did what you always point out as one of the things that you need to take on the road, especially on a tough game road. I mean, on a road that, where we haven't had much success for in the past, 2 to 3 seasons. We packed the defense, we packed the run game, and we packed some toughness is what I always add. So those are the 3 elements of football road games that I think that we did successfully on this past Saturday. They fought, they were resilient, and they didn't give up. When the passing game, which is our strength, I believe is the strength of the offense, was down, the run game would save us, but most importantly, our defense finally pulled it out. So kudos to our defense. Kudos to Coach Lynn, Coach Henney, Coach Ryan, Coach Reed, and Coach Belt, for calling a great game and for the guys going out there executing.
Most definitely, man. I'm always going to shout this kid out, man, because he was big time when the offense couldn't get going. Ryan Sierra. And especially team with his field goal kicking, his kickoff kicking, every kick was going to the end zone. In pressure time, those first few field goals that he hit, they were from long distance, and he was right down the middle. So Ryan Sierra, keep doing what he's doing. That's going to help us success. What else I like that we did is that we ran the ball, and we were able to run the ball successfully. Not only did we run the ball with the running backs, but Jaden Miles was very effective with his legs. And if we can keep that when things break down, he just take off and run, keeping on some of those zone reads, keep that defense of end and off defensive end honest, it's going to go well for our success. I'm so happy to say this. Defensively, right? Yes, we would. I'm so happy to say this. I mean, yes, we were. Yes, the rush defense was still bad, but they still made the plays when they have to. The defensive secondary, the Carlos Nicholson and God, I just forgot his name. Marcellus Williams played phenomenal on the corners, right? Yes, Nicholson had a after the play penalty. Yes,
unsportsmanlike. Yeah,
right. Yeah, but you can live with that. And Marcellus had a pass interference, but they were tested over and over again. And they won all those battles except one, and Nicholson was right there. So kudos to them. Defensively, Nebraska fumbled 4 times, right? We only recovered 1, but still causing them fumbles and things like that behind the line of scrimmage helped the defense in order to get them behind the sticks, right? And obvious passing down. I still like to see that. Yes, we want to recover all 4, but that's still, to me, I'm giving the defense kudos for that. We really had a 5th one. I thought that was a fumble. His backside went down, but we didn't get it. They reviewed it. It is what it is. Again, defensively, we had 3 and outs. If our defense can continue to get 3 and outs, which we haven't been getting many this year, and play the way they play, it's going to go good for our success. Staying on defense, man. Desmond Stevens. If we can get this Desmond Stevens, yeah, he would be like a man best, man. Yeah. If we get this play from the linebacker, Gentry already plays well, but and Stevens, if he continues to play like this, that goes well for our success. And the last 2 things is that what we need to continue to do is that we fought back and we overcame adversity.
Right.
Like you said, the past game was not working. The defense won this game for us yesterday. They kept us close until the offense could keep going, and we didn't give up. In prior years, we would have lost these games, right? We would have lost this game. We lost the game at Purdue when things start. And this team didn't. They stay mentally strong, focused. They believe, and it goes good. Well, for the rest of the season, because they're going to believe. Maeva struggled, didn't have his best game, but guess what? That team still believed in Maeva, because even when he make a bad play or he had a bad game going back to last year, he finds a way. He comes back, he's resilient, and we come back and we win those games. And so that just bodes well for the confidence in that team and going forward. So those are things that I would like to see us, that we did well, and I would like to see us continue to do. All right, moving right along to our second segment. We're not going to give grades. We have that video dropping here soon. That'll be out on Tuesday. But we just want to look at our players, our leading players, just at a high level, and give you who led the team. Of course, Jaden Maeva, on the quarterback we played, didn't have his best game through the air, but definitely made up for it on the ground, right? That's a good thing. He was 9 for 23, 135 yards passing with 1 TD. King Miller led in rushing with 18 rushes, 129 yards, average 7.2 yards a carry. He had one
ball, man. Give him the ball.
Yeah, he had one TD, but he also had a very, very important 2-point conversion on a trick play, which I love down there. We only doing the leading, but I think it's important to say Jaden Maeva had 11 rushes for 62 yards, averaged 5.6 yards a carry and a touchdown. Great. Jaden Richardson, he led the team in yards. He had 1 reception for 43 yards, again, on a perfect executed flea flicker trick play. As far as receptions, Tanuke Hines, Jacoby, Makai, and Lake all had 2 apiece. So they were tied there. Cameron Crawford led the defense in fumble recoveries. He recovered that 1. Desmond Stevens led us in tackle. Like I said, had a phenomenal game, 5 solo. The reason I love that he led the teams in tackles this week than how he did in prior week, these tackles wasn't 6 and 7 yards down the field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was meeting people. He was filling the gaps. He was meeting them at 1 yard behind the line. As far as tackles for loss, Anthony Lucas led us with 1.5 tackles for a loss. He also led us in sacks with 1 sack. Pass deflections. Marcellus Williams led us. Him and
Nicholson.
Him and Nicholson led us with 1 apiece in that. Kickoff returns, we only returned 1 to Tanuke Hines. Of course, Ryan Sari, 2 for 2 field goals. His longest was 49 yards. And Sam Johnson, we don't see the punter long, but man, that was big at the last punt where he pinned them into the goal line, right?
Oh yeah, it was. I think it was the 2-yard line. The 2-yard line.
Yeah. We don't see him much, but it's good to know we got a weapon. Yeah. And so that is our leaders. Like I said, we'll be doing a video as far as position grades, so we're not going to get too much into it. So we're going to move right along to our next segment. Men lie, women lie, but numbers never. Men lie, women lie, numbers never lie, but numbers can be misleading. This segment right here dedicates that if you didn't watch the game and you looked at the box stats, what stat in there can be misleading from what obviously happened in the game if you've seen it, right? So B, what stats stick out to you that you seen in the box score that you didn't think told the whole story of what happened in the game?
The score, the final score. Nebraska was pretty much having their way on the ground, as per usual, was running the ball. Especially on that first drive, we were having problems with stopping the run, and which this isn't a surprise. We've had this same issue all season long, but the difference in the game again was the toughness and our ability to come up with a stop when we needed to get a stop. You mentioned it in the last segment. We had 2 to 3 and outs, but we also put some pressure on that quarterback. He fumbled the ball, and we recovered that fumble. Without that, remember, they were heading in for another score. Again, we had issues with stopping the run, and I don't know for the life of me why Nebraska went away from the run and attempted to pass, but I don't know. We chalk it up to the coordinator, who is it, Dana Holgerson, trying to get a different look at the line. I don't know whether or not he just felt like he couldn't pick up those yardage, but for me, it would be the final score.
You're saying Nebraska's final score or USC final score?
Nebraska's final score.
Got you. I'm glad because I thought you took mine. Mine was going to say USC final score. It don't tell the whole story because again we were on the goal line, got a false start, had to settle for a field goal, right? Another couple of drives was 4th and 3rd and 1, ended up false starting, having to go back and settling for those field goals. Offensively, especially on the ground, we had a lot of success. I don't think our final score reflected what we really should have put up and could have put up. So that it is both the scores because somebody on this podcast was right in will we cover the spread or not, right? Somebody said, "No, we're not gonna cover. We're gonna win by 4 points." Not saying no names or, but I did think the game would be higher.
That's when the line was 6.5. They moved that line, man, down to 4.
Hey, it don't matter. I said we were gonna win by 4 points.
Yeah, you said that.
But I did think the game would be higher because of both defenses' inability to stop the run. Remember I said I don't think it's going to be in the 30s, but I thought it was going to be higher than 21-7. I didn't think it was going to be in the 30s because neither team can stop the run or whatnot. And so that's just wow. That's both of our men lie. And my other one is that our pass deflections, we only have 2 right on the corners. Okay. That don't tell the whole story about how well those corners played yesterday.
Oh yeah, the corners played exceptionally well.
They were tested over and over against in straight goals, straight man. They bumped him. They bumped press man.
The line press man, especially Marcellus Williams, man. He really bumped at the line, and this is going to bode well down the road. Whether people realize it or not. That's what we've been asking for, right, Chris? For our corners to be a little physical on the outside, kind of disrupt those timing routes. A lot of college quarterbacks throw timing routes. They expect for receivers to be in a certain spot at a certain time, and they do at the NFL level as well. But this is going to bode well for when we go down the road, get down the road and face those passing teams like Oregon and UCLA.
But that's misleading. They don't put in the stats really how many times you've been thrown at and how many times it was incomplete. But our corners played a phenomenal job. All right, moving along. Never accept anything in a win you wouldn't in a loss. Man, so glad that we got this win. But what did you see yesterday that you can accept moving forward? If you're the coach, you're nailing in with the team, saying we got to do better. We can't do this. We have to fix this because down the line it'll cost you a game.
Yeah, the slow start on offense. At the half we only had 6 points. We talk about a Lincoln Riley offense that's currently leading the nation, and not points scored, but offensive production. So for us to have 6 points at the half was kind of a shocker to me. We got off to that slow start, and I know you always your motto has been, or your message has always been, hey, look, our offense is going to have to be our defense, meaning that we're going to have to go up 2 scores in order for our defense to play the way they really want to play. So for us, for me, for my money, it's going to be the slow starts on offense. We get inside of the red zone, especially in the game last night, to where our first 2 trips inside of the red zone, we walked away with 6 points. That can't happen again, especially as we get into these tougher games like your Iowas and your Oregons. Those are going to be trips to the red zone that we really need to get a touchdown and that extra point. Last night we were somewhat fortunate because our defense held up and we were able to get back there to the quarterback and put Raiola out of the game. Up until that point, they were pretty much controlling the game itself. It was a defensive game. It was a back and forth, but we really didn't start to get on the board until the second half, and we went back to the running game. We were lucky enough to get that turnover. So for me, it's those empty trips to the red zone to where I wouldn't say empty, but to where we only walk away with a field goal.
we cut it down this game, right, to 1, but still,
Right.
Especially playing on the road, it's going to be turnovers, right? Have to
Right.
stop the turnovers. Secondly, pre-snap penalties. Pre-snap penalties, right? Dead ball fouls. Offensive line is 4th and 2 on the goal line. Can't be false starting. It's 3rd and 1. Now it's 3rd and 6 because we're false starting, right? Even though I don't agree with that, the Carlos Nicholson personal foul, I still don't know. I still can't figure out why it was called.
I think he said something. I think the referee said he said something.
I don't know, but even if he whatever, don't put yourself in the situation, right? And I don't agree. So turnover penalty. The other is still missed tackles. There were times their running back, we were hitting them. Our defensive line was hitting them at the line, and he was running right through their arm tackles. Many a time. Missed tackles by our safety. Ramsey missed a few tackles in the open field, right? You got to get there, got to bring the guy down. Can't keep having all these missed tackles. O-line, letting the 4-man rush beat them again. Can't happen. Unacceptable, right? That 4-man line, they wasn't doing it in the run game, but in the pass game, they were beating our line with just a 4-man rush pressure. Maiava, been playing great all year. Everyone has a bad game. He had a bad game, right? And I'm one of his biggest fans. I can't. The film shows he just had a bad game. He was underthrowing on a deep route where we could have had, it was 2 times. That's 14 points. Yes, passes was behind some receivers and things like that because he was off his mark and moving his feet and stuff as he was throwing and getting pressured. At the end of the day, has to play better. Wide receiver group, too many drop balls. Can't accept it. Have to clean that up, right? We done seen drops in the Notre Dame game. We done seen drops in the Nebraska game. Yesterday, we have 5 or 6 drops. Unacceptable. Have to clean that up. So that's what it's all for me. It's the turnover, the pre-snap penalties, the missed tackles, O-line giving up pressures to 4. Maiava has to play better in the wide receiver group. I have a high standard for Maiava and the wide receiver group. So that's very disappointing.
Let me ask you a question with that. Considering, the weather, the cold, would you give him somewhat of a pass on yesterday?
No, I'm not giving you a pass. You're an athlete. That's what you train for. You go to the NFL, you're not gonna get a pass. You're gonna be playing in colder. You're gonna be playing in colder weather than that.
Right.
Do your what you say. Do your job. Do something about it. Right. I don't care if it's cold, hot, snow, rain. Do your job.
Right.
But all right, moving right along. On to our next segment, our fight on play of the game. All right, what is your fight on play of the game?
My fight on play on the game is going to have to be what I think to believe to be the game changer for us.
I'm sorry, my Chargers just scored. We needed that score.
For me, it's going to have to be the play that I believe changed the game for us. It was the sack and the fumble, and the one that actually. And again, we don't. I'm not advocating. I'm not cheering that a player got hurt, but that sack, and I want to say it was by Anthony Lucas on Dylan Raiola, in which he fumbled the ball that Cam Crawford recovered. Again, they were headed into the end zone for another score. I think that changed the whole trajectory of the game. We were struggling on offense, struggling to get back into the red zone, which we didn't have too many trips in there in the first half. And I think that came on the heels of our quarterback Maiava throwing an interception. If I'm not incorrect, he had just thrown the interception. So the defense had to get right back out there. And I think he tried to throw it into a cover 2. He didn't see. I think that was the linebacker that dropped back and picked off that ball, but
it was the cornerback.
It was the cornerback. It was the cornerback. Okay.
Yeah, he had the flat curl and no one threatened his zone, so he just
right. So right. So that kind of put the defense, in a bad position because Nebraska was in plus territory. So for us to get back there, get that sack, and that was a hustle play for Anthony Lucas because he actually fell. Trying to get off a block, got right back up, got to the quarterback. Raiola didn't feel the pressure from his backside, and he ended up fumbling the ball. We recovered that fumble. So for me, it's that sack fumble by Anthony Lucas, that combination of Anthony Lucas and Cam Crawford.
For me, my fight on play of the game goes hand in hand because we used it both. And it's I summed it up as the trick plays.
Okay.
The flea flicker was beautiful, right?
Right.
I was saying it on live. I have never seen a flea flicker executed that well. Jack, he held on to that ball to the last minute. I mean, he went up to the line, went to the right, had everybody thinking it was run, and pitched it back with a great pass. And the trick play after we scored a touchdown on a 2-point conversion with King Miller, the fake reverse, the snap went straight to him. Marva was acting like he was changing the play, talking to the wide receivers. He clapped his hand. Yeah, and the center snapped it right to King Miller. King Miller faked the reverse and took it around the edge. So to me, it's going to be the trick plays. I even like the play that only went for 3 yards, the first drive, but it's those. So I'm going to sum it up. My fight on play the game, the trick plays. Okay. All right. Your Trojan horse game-changing play of the game.
Well, I think for me, again, it's the one that I just covered. It was the sack fumble. That got us back in business, and we went right back to the ground game, running the ball. And I just want to give a quick shout out to King Miller. I know my impact player of the game was I said it was going to be B-Jack, which I thought he should be the starter, simply because he has the most experience. It has. Especially with pass protection and actually playing in bigger games, going back to last season in that bowl game. But shout out to King Miller, man. I mean, this kid, it seems like when he has the holes available, man, he really takes advantage of his opportunities, and he don't play around. He put that foot in the ground and he get north and south. If you notice, he don't do a lot of dancing to the line, man. So I like his decisiveness. So, but that run game, and I was clamoring for it, right at the halftime. It looked like we tried to go to the air when we got the ball back, but I'm like, man, King Miller got 91 yards on 8 attempts. So for me, it was his ability, King Miller's ability to hit those holes, man, and carry this team on his back.
So your Trojan horse game-changing play of the game, King Miller?
No, I just gave him a special shout out. I said my Trojan horse game-changing play of the game was the sack fumble.
Okay. Yep. That's mine as well, for the simple fact that we had just threw interception. That was a big changing play to get us the ball back.
Right.
Not only that, I don't root for anybody to get injured or anything, but that changed the whole game when Raiola got out. They had a true freshman come in, and we seen the true freshman come in, and outside of just trying to throw a straight goal in the screen, he had nothing else in his repertoire. The stage was too big. A true freshman was just thrown in there, and we seen what would happen. And that changed the whole complexity.
Hey, was the lights too bright for him?
Yeah, man. That's what I was. That's what I was even saying about Longstreet. Where I was like, no, I'm staying with Marv. I'm not going to throw a true freshman in this situation. But yeah, that is my game changing play of the game as well. All right. Your Trojan horse impact players of the game on USC, offensively and defensively.
I'll let you go first on this one.
All right. Offensively is who I said the impact player was going to be pregame. King Miller. Definitely he was the most consistent person, did the most damage. Like I said last week against Notre Dame, it wasn't the running backs. The offensive line wasn't opening any holes. This week they open holes, and we seen yet again King Miller do King Miller things when you give him some protection. One of the beauty things about it is that due to injuries, his brother was in there on the offensive line. His brother played well. Defensively, this was tough for me because these kids have been ridiculed. We've talked about it. They've been dissected, and I just didn't want to lead. So I gave mine to 3 players on defense.
It's
Desmond Stevens, Desmond Stevens,
Hold on,
Carlos,
now you can't take up everybody now. Hold on,
and
one of
Marcellus
those,
Williams.
one of those might be mine, man. You can't.
I
Take
mean,
up
you can
three of them.
you can still take it, but I
All
have
right,
been
so
critical of the defense.
who'd you say on defense?
I have been critical of defense, especially linebacker play. But these
Okay.
three guys, they played their behinds off yesterday, and they deserve kudos. Desmond Stevens, DeCarlos Nicholson, and Marcellus Williams, linebacker in both corners, played phenomenal. Desmond Stevens, I don't know where that Desmond Stevens been all year, but he played phenomenal, and I'm so happy for that kid. I'm so happy that he had the type of game he was because everybody's been talking about him, dissecting the game, what he's not doing. He was coming downhill yesterday. He was making some tackles. Yeah, he had a couple mistakes, but the overall game, he played his best game of the year. Marcellus Williams and DeCarlos Nicholson, since they took over the corners and they stopped doing all their rotation, they have played outstanding on the outside. So I'm giving it to all three of them.
All right, for me on offense, I'm going to go with somebody different. And even though the passing game wasn't on yesterday, I want to go with the freshman Tanook Hines. This kid just so happens to come up with big time catches whenever we need a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 7, and you got Makai Lemon double cover. You got Jacoby Lane in a funk. He might not be having his best game and had a couple drops, and Jaden Maava is looking to go somewhere else, somewhere where the player is not double teamed. And you've seen him make big plays against Purdue. You've seen him make big plays against Michigan. For me, it's going to be offense to Nook Hines. Look for him to be, well, of course, after Lemon and Lane go out to the NFL, look for him to be the primary target for this USC offense when we talk about from a wide receiver perspective, Mr. Tanook Hines. On defense, I want to go a whole nother route. I want to say Cam Crawford. He's done a great job last night. He did a great job with containing the edge, but he was the one who actually recovered that fumble. But also, he's had a couple tackles for losses, but he's also gotten a lot of pressure on that quarterback. I'm talking about the backup quarterback. So for me, it's going to be those two. Those two that it may not reflect in the stats or in the box score, but Tanook Hines and Cam Crawford.
All right, so shout out to our Trojan. Our Trojan horse impact players of the game. Congratulations. All right, moving right along to our next segment. First down. What did you learn, if anything, about this USC football team from the game last night versus Nebraska and to what this team can be?
What I learned is that they are a tough team. They showed me a lot of fight last night. The things that there's not going to get mentioned, again, that's not in the box scores that you're going to see. There was a play where one of the Nebraska offensive linemen was a little overzealous with the blocking after the whistle. And I saw Jade Adversary turn around and push the kid up off of him. That's the type of toughness I was talking about that I wish we could have seen in the Notre Dame game. This is going to go a long way, not only for the mindset of the team along the defensive line, but when they show this in film study, this is going to spill over into the other players. This can be an infectious situation for them. We're going back to the house. I look for them to have more confidence and continue to build on that confidence, but it also shows that we could turn around and lean on our defense to actually win us a game. So I'm going from the initial mindset of watching Jade Adversary push this kid off of him to Marcellus Williams showing some fight and some grit on the outside, getting hands on those receivers. That Notre Dame game, the referees were letting their DBs be real physical with our receivers. So what did we do? We came back the following week after our bye week, and our DBs got real physical with their receivers. So if we could take this going forward, and we could depend on our receivers, not our receivers, but our DBs to hold their own on the outside, I think this is also going to bode well for the way D'Anton Lynn dials up the pressures with that front seven.
All right, what I learned in this game is that this team is resilient.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, in previous years we lose this game, but the previous team. This team is resilient. I learned they can play from behind, right? I was a firm believer that if our offense didn't get up 2 scores, that we couldn't win the game based off what I've seen defensively all year.
Mm-hmm.
What I've learned is, remember the question I was asking since week 1: can this defense win us a game? They proved yesterday they can win us a game. Our defense won us that game, hands down. Keep us in the game to offense can keep going. They especially in the second half. In the second half, I mean, even before Raiola went out, they had stopped him. He didn't get hurt to their third possession. You know what I mean? Right. So defense definitely can win us a game. Learn again, we can win on the road in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah.
When you pack the right stuff, you can win on the road in the Big Ten. When you pack your run game, your defense, your toughness, as you say, you can win it. I didn't think because of what I've seen defensively all year, I didn't think when it comes to a 1 possession game we would be able to win. And what it proved is this is not the same defense from last year. They was able to go out there in the last 3 possessions. They was on the field, 2 of them, and they made stops. And they won the game. Also, what I learned is because of all that, this program is headed in the right direction. I see the progress. I see the direction with NIL being together, GM, the facilities, the recruiting classes we got coming in. Again, we have like the youngest team in the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. So these kids in next year and the year after, when they're juniors and seniors, plus with what we got coming in, we're going to have that 5-star starters and depth all the way down. You know what I mean? So this program is headed in the right direction. All right, moving right along. Second down. Should we be concerned with Jaden Maiava's performance going forward because of the performance yesterday?
No. I think, like you said before, everybody's entitled to have a bad game. He's going to have a bad game. Up until last night, he pretty much averaged, close to 300 yards passing per game. What I am encouraged by, though, was his ability to pull the ball on that RPO and run it. We've seen something now. We saw something last night that we pretty much haven't seen all season long. I don't know whether or not Riley kept it under wraps until last night, but he pulled that ball out like Caleb Williams used to pull that ball out, and he took off running. And I don't think Nebraska was prepared for that. I don't think Nebraska saw it. Well, I know they didn't see it on tape because we haven't showed it on tape all game. All season. So I know they hadn't seen it, so they couldn't prepare for it. So they were automatically
early in the season, he was keeping it a lot.
Not to this extent, though. Not to this extent.
He showed it on tape. He was keeping it the first 3 or 4 games. That's how we got Purdue. Remember, our run game was shut down, and then he started keeping it. I think he may have pulled it once or twice against Purdue, but last night he pulled that thing. What he have 11 attempts? 11 So as far as on the zone read, he only actually kept it on the zone read through time. The rest of that was pressure got there and he took off.
Got there. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know the one touchdown that he had on the ground, he pulled it and ran it.
He did it twice in a row. He ran the same play twice in a row.
Right, twice in a row. And again, I don't think Nebraska really planned for that. They planned for handing the ball off, which we've had success on the ground, running the ball with our running backs. When you think about King Miller, keeping that ball and running it, and before they got hurt, Waymo and Eli. But we saw an element of pretty much that Jaden Maiava, and to be fair, a lot of platforms, USC platforms, have been calling for him to keep the ball. And again, we don't know whether or not this is just something that Riley asked him not to do, and just we need to have your legs this game. But for me, he didn't have his best game. But he ended up, pulling it out and making the plays when the plays need to be made. So no, it's not a concern of mine. If we go the next 3 games and I see the same thing, the same regression, then yeah, it might become a problem. But I don't think we'll have this same issue, especially in the next 2 games. I expect for him to be back doing Jaden Maiava things.
So should we be worried? My answer is no, neither. Everyone has a bad game. Right. What people have to realize as well, we expect you to have a good game every game, and it's not an excuse. But Nebraska, before playing us, they were giving up an average 4 yards per pass attempt. That's how well their defense has been playing against the pass this year. They were second in the country in pass defense.
Right, that's correct.
So that was a good defense, right?
Right.
Pass defense. Their Achilles heel is running the ball. That was a good pass defense. I'm not worried about him. For one, the kid is a winner, right? Okay,
Right.
the pass game wasn't going for him, but he did it on the ground. As far as running the ball, I don't think it's anything that Riley say don't do it, do it. It's the zone read. It's up to the QB if he keep it or not and what he reads. A reason we've been calling for Marva to run more is because we've seen him do it. We've seen him do it really early in the season in the first 4 games and the success we had on it. But for whatever reason, he's kind of slowed down on it, but we don't know. We can look at TV and say, oh, that end crashed down, keep it. But in the spur of the moment, your mind going 24 miles an hour, is he taking the right read, and is that why he's giving it? But I'm not concerned about him. Everybody has a bad game. And so hopefully this was it. I know it was cold. I don't know how windy it was, but he was off. But what he was off in the past game, he made up for with his legs. And he was killing them. So I am not concerned going forward with him at all, man. He's a winner, man. Think about it. Since he's been at USC, he's only lost 3 games.
Right.
He lost no. Yeah, he's lost Illinois and Notre Dame twice.
Yeah, Illinois and Notre Dame twice. That's correct.
Hey, that's crazy, huh? He's a winner. His record probably like 8-3 as a USC starter. You know what I mean? Somewhere around there. I have to go back and look at all the games. What we 6-2 right now?
Yeah, 6-2.
So that's 8, and then he played 4 games last year?
Yeah, including the bowl game.
12-3?
Bowl game, yeah.
So he's 12-3.
Pretty good for somebody who can't read a defense, right? Pretty good for somebody who can't read a defense, according to
And you guys, he's B being funny with it. With some other people say, he's not saying Jay Marvin because I don't want them to be talking about some weird shit now.
Well, they know because I was the one who said, "Hey, look," I was the one who said early last season, "Hey, look, man, that needs to be our starter right there." So yeah, I was being sarcastic to those other.
Now I ain't want them to take it wrong and be saying you said they be like, you said that he can't. Yeah.
Yeah, I know how they do, man. I know how they do.
Moving right along the third down, I'll take this first. What surprised you the most about this game? What did you see that you did not expect? Again, what surprised me most about this game is how USC won this game in the manner that they won this game. Really? It was a knockdown, tough fight, right? Defensive battle.
Right.
And we were able to come out and win this game. If you would have, I had us winning by 4, but I did not think it was going to be a defensive game. I thought it was just going to be an offensive game, and we had the ball last down 3, and we ended up scoring a touchdown, right? So that's what surprised me the most, that this was a defensive game. Both a 21-17 game, both defenses actually played well. Each offense was struggling, to get both defense was getting gashed on the ground, but they made plays when they needed to. More on USC, we helped them out with penalties and things like that while we were driving and turnovers. But you know what I'm saying? That's what surprised me most is that we won a game on the road. We was behind. If going into this game, I didn't think we had the defense where we can afford to not be up 2 scores, let alone be behind and still win. Mm-hmm. But the defense surprised me. The defense made the stops that kept us in this game. The defense won this game for us. It was a physical game. And so that is what surprised me, that this was a defensive battle and how we won this game in the manner that we won this game. I know a lot of people want us to blow them out, totally dominate, but you remember me saying this is the type of win that I want because it goes well for our program and believe that we can win these close games. We can win a half-hour game. We can win the game if we're not playing at our best, but we still have enough and belief in each other that we can get it done. So that's what surprised me the most.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I want to echo the same thing, for our toughness to show up on the road the way it did. And this is going to go, hopefully, this spills over into the following games. As long as we don't play down to our competition. I know we got Northwestern coming up next week on a Friday. is not a typical game day, but we tend to play a little tough at home, but we can't. Of course, you don't want to take anyone for granted, but as long as this defense continue, I think if our defense sets the tone like this, I say it like this. Of course, we didn't start off good, right? Everybody saw the game. But our defense set the tone in the second half. In the first half, we gave up, 14 points, right? In the second half of that game, we only gave up 3 points. And this is a Dana Holmgren's offense that's averaging 30-plus points a game, right? We held them to 17 points, 3 in the second half. So as long as this defense continued to set the same tone that they set in the second half, they came out playing tough. They came out being physical. The DBs, again, been playing great, lights out. Nicholson gave up one score, which was it was a well-defended play. The receiver just made a play, and it's going to happen sometimes. And we gave up 2. Like I said, we gave up those 2 scores in the first half, but in the second half, they were pretty much locked down. So much to the point to where I think this is the second quarterback we've injured on the season. The first game we injured, the first time we injured a quarterback was who? Michigan's. He came off limping. Then Raul came off limping. So these guys have started to play physical, but they just got to believe in themselves. So for me, is that they packed that toughness and they went on a roll with it.
All right. Moving on. 4th down. Through this point in the season, what's the biggest areas of growth on the team you have seen from USC this year from prior years? To me, hands down, is that I don't want to hear what nobody say. Riley has ran the ball this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yesterday we had a drive where we did nothing but run the ball. And we had it in 3rd and 1, but due to a false start, it took us back to 3rd and 6. We ran the ball on 3rd down. Then we ran it again. You know what I mean? Right. And so Riley has been committed to what he said. He's running the ball. We go that 12-man with them 2 tights. He run the ball. The other biggest area of growth is that Riley has more road wins in the Big Ten than this year. Than, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the prior 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we're performing on the road. That we're actually winning. We're winning road games. Another big area of growth that I've seen. It happened one time this year, right? Where we had a 4th quarter collapse, but in these other games that's been close and defense haven't made play. The only game we had a collapse in is the Illinois, of course, on that last drive. But last night, this game last year, we give up that 98-yard drive. It was happening. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So that's the biggest area of growth that defensively, we've had our struggles this year, but for the most part, when they had chances to close out games, we're not losing. We're not having those big 4th quarter collapses like we was every game last year. Right. Those are the biggest area of growth to me.
To me, I'm going to say the biggest area of growth have been our DBs. I play for my DBs initially,
Okay, so you said from the beginning of the year, not the last year.
Yeah, from the beginning of the year, have been our defensive backs, man. When we cut down on the rotation, and you mentioned it earlier in the video, we cut down on the rotation. We started going with, we identified the 2 backs that we felt like going to give us the best chance to play an aggressive style of defense. When you talk about the Carlos Nicholson, when you talk about Sellers Williams, those guys have been playing lights out, especially this past game. With the exception of, like I said, the good play that the receiver, he just made a good catch on the outside. And Marcellus Williams didn't give up any touchdowns. I think that second touchdown was a rushing touchdown. Again, both of them came in the first half, but Raul is a pretty decent quarterback. He's throwing 72% on the season, and up until he got hurt, he wasn't really throwing any picks against us. He gave up that fumble, but that was on the blind side. So for me, it's going to be the play of our defensive back. Now here's the thing, Chris. Now that you showed me that you can do it, my expectations are going to be for you to do it every game. Those are my expectations now. So once you show us that you can do something, that you're capable of it, that's what we're going to expect from you. And we're not going to, if we didn't believe in this team, we wouldn't be as critical or be upset when they fail to do their job. So now that you show me that you guys can play bump press on the outside and be physical, hey, look, from this point on, going forward against Northwestern, against Iowa, against Oregon, against UCLA, and whatever bowl game we go to, I'm expecting to see the same thing. So for me,
Playoffs.
yeah, playoffs. That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping for the playoffs, right? But I'm expecting to see the same play out of our defensive backs. And if we can do that, we can get that type of play on the outside from those two, and they can stay healthy. Look for those defensive play calls to totally change up, and for Lynn to really be able to go into his bag and get back there and put some pressure and get some sacks on those opposing quarterbacks.
Most definitely, most definitely. So that's going to wrap it up for us today for our post-game recap of the USC Trojans versus the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Man, that bye was so long. Feels so good to be back on the winning track, man.
Right,
yes.
right.
I slept like a baby last night. I was so happy, boy.
You said you was able to eat your food last night.
Man, so happy, man. But USC was victorious in Lincoln, Nebraska, 21-17. Man, kudos and shout out to the team. Shout out to our Trojan Horse impact players of the game.
Right.
Shout out to the whole team, man. Shout out to Miller on the offensive line being able to block for his brother, man. What a beautiful story.
That was special. That was special. Come right in and open up those holes for him.
Yeah, shout out to Desmond Stevens, man. It's been a long year for him. He's taken a lot of hits, especially in media, but I'm happy for the kid, man. He performed. He looks good, man. And if we can get this Desmond Stevens every week and just keep growing his experience, and he played like that, oh man, he's going.
Now that he showed us that he showed
that's the expectation.
That's what we expect. Those are expectations.
A young Marcellus Williams, the way you've been playing the last 3 weeks. Oh man, we expect and just imagine, man. At least we got another 2 years with these guys.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
At least another 2 years.
So definitely shout out, man, to the whole Trojan team, man. We just so happy to have the win. Again, man, check us out on Tuesday. We'll be dropping a video of our position grades from this game. But this wraps up our post-game recap. Appreciate all the likes, subscriptions, comment, shares, man. We appreciate all the support. Appreciate everybody that stopped by Saturday during the live watch as we broke down the game live, talked about the game. Appreciate all the comments and individuals that called in. And before we get out of here, I'm going to pass it over to you, B.
Hey, my man, continue to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell for notification from where we drop content, and continue to support the channel. We're going to keep bringing that content every week. We're going to bring you content. So, thanks for being here for us. And look, we created this channel for you, the fans.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, until later on, as always, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.